Hello friends, today we are going to study Thomas More Utopia. Sir Thomas More was born on 1477 and died at 1535. Thomas More Utopia derived from Greek word OUOTOPOS, topos, which means nowhere. Identical word Utopus means a good place. It's an imaginary land created by Thomas More, and he wrote Utopia in 1516. It was written in Latin and published in Louvain, which means Belgium. Currently, it has been called as Belgium. The theme is satire criticizing about Europe's corruption and religious hypocrisy, and he follows the Plato's Republic. Utopia has been divided into two books, Book 1 and Book 2. Book 1 is about the conversation between three friends, and Book 2 about descriptions of Utopia. Book 1 has no other chapters, but Book 2 has 9 chapters. Here, 4 important characters of Utopia. First one, Thomas More. He is the author of Utopia and a friend of Peter Gale. Peter Gale is a printer and editor at Clerk of Antwerp. He is a friend of Raphael Hetholde. Raphael Hetholde, he is a fictional character created by Thomas More, and he travelled with Amerigo Vespucci. Next one, Utopus. He is the conqueror of utopian state. These three characters plays a major role in Thomas More's Utopia. Thomas More, Peter Giles, and Raphael Hetholde. And Utopus is merely like a king of Utopia. Raphael also can be pronounced as Raphael. At the introduction chapter, it starts with a 6 lines poem which describes a utopia as Utopia, and it is a response to Plato's Republic written by Utopia's poet laureate. And it follows by 4 lines by Utopus. He is a conqueror of utopian state. Utopia becomes a philosophical state. It parallels Britain. More's letter to Peter Gale, it's an epistle to Gales, informs that the delay of manuscript as he is busy out of his personal work. More forgets certain details in manuscripts and asks Peter Giles to contact Hetholde if he finds any mistakes. More shares his views about an ideal state in the shadow of a fictional character, Hetholde. The title of Book 1, On the Best Form of a Commonwealth and on the New Island of Utopia, a truly precious book, no less profitable than delightful, by the most distinguished and learned gentleman Thomas More, citizen and under-sheriff of the illustrious city of London. This is the title of Book 1, and the Book 1 is named as Dialogue of Council. In Book 1, More tripped to Flanders and met Raphael Hetholde. Peter Giles, More and Hetholde discusses about various topics such as civil and religious philosophical issues. More, as the ambassador of Henry VIII, he toured the cities like Bruges, Brussels and Antwerp along with the Cuthbert Tunstall. At Antwerp, More met his friend Giles after attending a mass at St. Mary's Church. A mass referred to the prayer meeting of Roman Catholics. More introduced Hetholde. Hetholde is not utopian, but he is Portuguese, travelled with Amerigo Vespucci. After Vespucci's departure, he continued his travel and visited Utopia. 3 men continued to talk about More's lodging place, and Raphael befriended with the native inhabitants. Peter suggested Raphael as a counselor and advisor of King. More agrees too. Hetholde denied that they would become jealous and explain about his bitter experience. Hithalde was in debate with the fellows of Cardinal Archbishop of Canterbury, Reverend Father John Morton. Hithalde interested in political issues than culture of any places. On their debate, Hithalde was against the punishment of thieves hanging. He says that punishment is too harsh because most of them are poor. The cardinal argued that they can become traders, but Hithalde argues that there is no avenues for wounded person in war. They cannot become trader or farmer. After the death of nobles, tenants became thief and beggar. Moreover, the Christianity follows the law of Moses to new law of mercy of Jesus Christ, which adds that killing is forbidden and against God. The thieves could work in public works like roads and bridges. A lawyer argues that this idea would affect Commonwealth. Finally, Cardinal says that Hithalde idea would be followed if their current system failed. Cardinal crowds applauded as if it was Cardinal's own idea. More mention about Plato's Republic, philosopher king. Philosopher king means those who idle the role of king. But Raphael cannot be king. He mentioned about Utopia, which is opposite to Europe. They learn from guests like Hithalde, and after lunch, Raphael promised to tell story about Utopia. Here the book 1 ends. Book 1 describes about the conversation between three men, Thomas More, Raphael Hatherley and Peter Gales. They were discussing about the civic and philosophical events. While they are discussing, Raphael introduced that he has traveled with Amerigo Vespucci, and finally he went to a land like Utopia, which is parallel with Europe, but which is directly contradictory to the ideas of Europe. Then he shares about his bitter experience in Cardinal's court, and he describes that he has been humiliated as if his idea is Cardinal's own idea. Finally, when the afternoon arrived, he said he will be telling the story about Utopia. Book 2 Discourse on Utopia. Of the discussion which Raphael Hithalde held concerning the best state of a commonwealth by the way of Thomas More, citizen and sheriff of London. Chapter 1 Description of Utopia. In this chapter, Raphael Hithalde discusses about the geography and layout of the country. Entrance is rocky, well protected and fortified. Eutychus wants to cut off his own country from Isthmus, it's a mainland. Everyone laughed at his idea. Finally, when he accomplished with his troop, everyone was shocked. It consists of 54 and it is circular in shape. Each cities are 20 miles in diameter with a farm, equal food supplies, and everyone should work in the farm, which is contrary to Europe. Chapter 2 of their towns, particularly of Amoret. Amoret is a capital which is square in shape near water source Ande River. ANYD or Ande River. The streets are 20 feet wide. Each house are equal in size with beautiful garden. Utopians took pride in their garden. Each house has both front and a back door unlocked because it is not personal property for anyone. Utopus, he is the founder of Utopia. They exchange his house every 10 years. Chapter 3 of their magistrates. Every year, 30 families chooses a Hippocrant. They communicate with the families. Every 10 Hippocrants chooses Trenebon, prince for life chosen by the family. They discuss everything for 3 days. They don't discuss everything with a single day discussion. They are not allowed to talk about state matters other than council, or they will be sentenced to death. Chapter 4 of their trade and the manners of life. They work 6 hours a day and sleep for 8 hours. Everyone is a laborer there, even the officials. There is no beggar. They work in farm and trade. They wear same clothes. On their leisure time, they read and hear lecture, conversation, music, and play games like chess. And the roles of women, they are equal to men. Children learn to trade their father's trade. If they want to learn a new trade, they would be adapted to some other family. Chapter 5 of their traffic. Oldest man rules the house. 6,000 families in the city, and each family has 10 to 16 members. If they have extra members, they would be sent to another house. If any place has more people, they would be sent to neighboring colonies, and they made new cities. Father Health's market. No payments, no water, and no leftovers. Everything is equally distributed when it's left over. They eat at large halls. Each city is divided into 4 equal districts and a market at the center of the place. Chapter 6 of the traveling of the Utopians. They should request to the local government when they travel, and they will give passport. They provide with a wagon and a slave to help them. If they travel extra day, they should work in their travel. Traveling without permission and wandering will end with a severe punishment. A man can travel under their father's and wife's concern. They value iron more than gold. Gems, they use gems as a toy for children. They use gold and silvers as chambers and prisons. An ambassador from another country wears gold ornaments, and they are mocked by Utopian children. They don't have any Greek and Roman philosophy. Instead, they found on their own. They have single religious principle to pray God. They don't interest in gambling, which is taking from others and hurting others. They value physical health and sharpening the mind. They trade to foreign countries and donate 1/7 to poor in the foreign countries. Chapter 7 of their slaves and of their marriages. They are enslaved for committing sins. They get slaves from other nations when they are sentenced to death in their own nation. They have doctors and a good treatment. If someone is terribly sick, they are allowed to take euthanasia under their consent. Euthanasia kills the person by taking this. Those who commit suicide will be thrown at the ditch. Committing suicide is strictly prohibited. Premarital intimacy is not allowed. Both bride and grooms are allowed to be naked before marriage to find their suits. Men marries at the age of 22, whereas women marries at 18. There is no divorce in Utopia. If they are unhappy, they can petition to the Senate and they can remarry. Adultery is punished. They never sign treaties because they don't follow it. Raphael suggests utopian topic of thieves' punishment to cardinal. Cosmetics are disgraceful and lawyers are banned. They can advocate for themselves. Chapter 8 of their military disciplines. Both men and women are at army service. They will practice every day. They don't have hope for treasure, so they consider wars are unjustified, so they are ready to give their treasure to them. They win war by setting traps and hiring monsters instead of utopians. They hire Zapoltes, they are tribes. They are ready for fight for money. As utopians, they don't value the treasure. They are ready to give more money. At chapter 9 of the religions of the utopians, they worship plants, nature, and deities and the great man of past. Mithras is a common god which is equal to Christianity. Priests are hard workers too. They have to earn their own work. Spacious temples are there with no image of God. Most of them are monotheist. They don't like religious riot in their place. If anyone rioted against anyone, they will be banished. Conclusion. In a final letter to Gales, he mentioned critics who are fond of Utopia, which is absurd. Moore insisted that he is not the supporter of Utopia. If reader needs more information, they can contact Raphael Hitolde. As we have already discussed, he has presented a very different nation in the shadow of Raphael Hitherday and fictional character. Here, the story ends. Next, we will be seeing John Webster's The White Devil. Thank you, friends.